Hey, everybody. How are we doing?
What's up?
We're good here.
We're good. So, guys, I want to start this off by telling y'all thank y'all for being here today. I truly appreciate every one of y'all spending y'all's time to come in and talk about The Mandalorian with me. That's pretty awesome. I can't go to my neighbor like JB said at some point. I can't go to the Colvin Sack and talk to my neighbor about Mandalorian. So I'm going to talk to you guys about The Mandalorian.
Wait, we were supposed to watch something?
Exactly what I'm talking about.
No, you don't have to watch anything. Nothing's mandatory at this point. It's all hearsay as far as I'm concerned, anyways.
Wait, we're supposed to watch The Winter Soldier, right?
The Winter Soldier.
Is that what this was? That's what this is?
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Man,
this is.
I'm in the wrong live stream.
I thought we were watching Spider-Man. You guys got me messed up.
So quickly, everybody introduce yourselves real quick to anybody that here that might not know y'all. I'm sure that anybody that's going to be showing up will know y'all, but quickly. We got Chris from Mr. TechBot. How are you doing, bud? JKL Awesome.
Up,
really appreciate you coming. JB from DiscoveryBayComics. Guys, I have put a link to their channels down in the description. So if you not subscribed to these channels, you should probably go over there and do that. But I'm sure that anybody who is in this chat already is. How are we doing?
Great.
I'm wonderful. Had mowed the lawn this morning, I got all done with that. Hey, that's an accomplishment.
So Chris, have you watched the Mandalorian trailer yet?
Yes, I did. I did watch it earlier today. I hadn't watched it until today. I know it's been up there, but I hadn't watched it till today, and it looks pretty good. I mean, being a non-Star Wars, I'm not gonna say I'm a non-Star Wars fan. I like the movies. I think they're good. I'm just not as I'm not as much of a Star Wars crazy fan as maybe I am more of Marvel.
Right.
But I really, when the Mandalorian came out, of course, everyone was going on about it, and I slowly jumped into it. I didn't jump into it right away, but man, by the time you hit about 2 or 3 episodes in, you were hooked, and you had to know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
it's definitely full throttle after the first couple of episodes. So, JB, what do you think about the new Mandalorian trailer? Are you excited to see it coming?
You want me to start first? Oh man,
yeah, absolutely, I do.
I'm a huge fan. Right? So, what I enjoyed most about the first season, before I talk about this trailer for season 2, but what I enjoyed most about that first season was all of the little Easter eggs that are dropped to things that remind you of my Star Wars, which again, I'm going to date myself. I'm in my late 40s, and when I'm one of those old men, get off my lawn. The original Star Wars Empire Strikes Back in Return of the Jedi is my Star Wars in my world, in my head, right? So anytime that there's an Easter egg reference to those in any way, I'm digging it. And when I saw this trailer, I'm looking for what are the references to, the original 3 movies and how is it going to tie in? And man, this is going to be I don't want to go over, I'm assuming we're going to break this down later, but
definitely break it down.
I was pumped and I think that it delivered. It delivered without over, especially at the end when it went dark and you heard, because I love that. It leaves it to the imagination when it goes dark and you just hear and you get to know, come on. It was great. Good stuff.
I like that.
Good
So
stuff.
you already know what's coming at that point? Yes.
Right?
Look,
Yeah.
I've probably watched it 10 times because I have been waiting on this trailer for, hell, I mean, y'all know at least over a month or so, but I've probably been waiting on this season since December. So I kind of got into The Mandalorian late. So I didn't really start watching The Mandalorian until about December. And then I just kind of binged watched all of them back to back. So I think I'm going to sit down tonight and binge watch all of them back to back again. Mm-hmm. JKO, what is your first thoughts on the new trailer?
To follow up what JB said, it gives you, in my opinion, and obviously his, it gives you exactly enough. It's like, all right, this is what you got to expect, but it's not really giving away the plot. It's not giving away anything really big, you really don't know what's happening. I have theories, but you really don't know what's happening. So it's kind of like, all right, we're going to show you this. It's just enough to get you hyped to go, okay, I'm ready.
So do you think Star Wars is really good at playing us like that? I think Lucasfilms is really good at playing all of us like that. They give us just enough to pull us in.
Yeah. I mean, just like with most people who have watched the last trilogy would say, leading up to them, everybody was excited, but then everybody came kind of divisive about it. Like some people love it, some people hate it. So they definitely have a way, but everybody was excited for it regardless. So they definitely have a way of making you feel like, yeah, I gotta see this.
I always said as long as they didn't bring Jar Jar Binks back into the last 3 hours, okay.
I wish they had brought him back. They might as well had.
Speaking of bringing people back, do you think they're going to have Boba Fett in this one? Now, I know there's a lot of rumors that you're going to see Boba Fett in it.
Yes.
Do we think that we're going to see him?
Why not?
Yes.
You do think we're going to see him? I think I even seen somewhere on the internet where they froze the video and they show you this little like behind him of his armor. I don't really know that we're going to see him. I think that's going to be one of those things that'll be left up until it actually happens.
No, I think he's going to be in there.
I think he's going to be in there?
I from what I've heard, the actor that plays the clone, Jango Fett, who Boba Fett supposedly cloned from, is confirmed to be in the show. So he's either going to be a clone trooper, because remember the clones are from Jango Fett, which he played all those parts, or he's going to be Boba Fett, because a clone of Jango Fett that grew up would grow up to look like Jango Fett. So it's one or the other. My money's on Boba Fett.
Hey, so I'm going to get right into this. Chris, what do you think about the CGI that's in this film?
I mean, it's not as much CGI. I mean, of course, with Yoda and stuff like that, but it's I think it's done tastefully, where it's not overly done or anything by that means. I think really, to me, the whole Mandalorian series is more about the story than about the special effects or anything of that nature. I don't think I think it's done very tastefully for what we see.
I think the special effects in this are going to change the way things are filmed. I mean, they basically took and made one big LED screen in some big building, and there's no green screens. They did away with the green screens. There's zero green screens. They can change the everything all within a click of a button, and I seriously believe that this is going to change the way we see films in the future. Yeah. I mean, this is groundbreaking technology even for Hollywood, and we all know that Hollywood is way above advanced on everybody else. JKL, what do you think about it? There's a part in the trailer where he's being escorted by the X-Wings. What do you think's going on there?
I don't think they're attacking. I know a lot of people are saying like they're attacking him. I think they're escorting him to wherever he's trying to get to. Like can we really like get into it? Because I want to get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So my overall thought of what's happening, the whole story arc. Well, maybe not the whole story arc, but his story arc right now is you heard the armor at in the last season say you have to find the Jedi, basically. So I think he's going on a journey to find the Jedi to give Baby Yoda to, because he doesn't know what to do with this creature. So I kind of feel like he's following a path of like either rumors or Jedi temples, because at one point they go to Ilum, the ice planet, what I think is Ilum. And the part with him flying with the X-Wing, I feel like they're escorting him to whatever planet he's on to go speak to somebody who might be able to send him to the next place, to wherever he's trying to get to. I don't think they're attacking him. I don't think it's like he's in like some airspace that they don't want him in and they're going to shoot him down. So a lot of people think that, that's what that is. Like he's getting attacked by the X-Wing. I don't think so.
Come on, JB. What's your thoughts? I see you just waiting.
I agree with you. I'm just digging what he's saying right here. But I want to go back to something about the trailer in general. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, get off my lawn again. I think that the big budget films from DC and Marvel have given away the whole freaking thing in the trailer. And I hate that. Because you go back and you go, man, they just gave away the whole story, it seemed, even in the Spider-Man movies. All the major blockbuster films just give you too much in the trailer. And I don't think they did that here. Not at all.
Right.
I think they gave you just enough. Now, remember I was talking about earlier, it's the little Easter eggs that give you the chills. Mm-hmm. That X-Wing scene, when those things come flying up on the sides, that was one of the scenes in this whole trailer that gave me the chills. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
you can tell by the way that they're flying up on him. Where they're flying up on him, it is absolutely escort. He's got some cargo. I'm in my mind, I agree with you. He's got the cargo. Let's deliver him safely to the cargo.
Exactly.
But him in the car goes safely. Oh man! Now, real question, JKL, since you were down like a big time, fan of this, I just got to ask, and I want to ask the panel, what is Baby Yoda? Have you guys kind of broken down a timeline and seen kind of what 50 years back from that point where this is supposed to be breaks down, in relation to what was going on Camino?
Well,
what is your thought on that?
From what I've heard and what I've talked about when the first season came out, Baby Yoda would have been born roughly around the time Anakin was born. So in the timeline, in the timeline, that kind of puts him alive during that whole prequel into main OG trilogy, I should say. So
gotcha.
He's been around this whole time.
Very interesting.
The question is where. Was he cloned? Since we don't know much about Yoda's race, we don't know if they're born from eggs, if they're
we once saw one. We saw one lady. Remember, we saw one lady on the council. There was one lady, Yoda issue, whatever that breed is on the council. So, was he getting busy? I don't know.
Exactly right. Was Yoda getting some?
It's funny you brought that up because we were talking about that today at lunch. I'm going to venture to say that this is Yoda's child. Unless they're going to like reincarnate Yoda somehow and
write it down right now. Look at that.
I'm going to venture to say that this is Yoda's child just based on the timeline, right? I mean, so if you go off the timeline, this almost has to be Yoda Jr. Yes. And I almost think that they're going to play it out like that too. It's going to be Yoda Jr.
It's possible, but in the comics, there are two other of Yoda's species that's shown. I'm not really I didn't read it, but I know of them. I'm not really sure how old they were though, but they were around.
Yes, but coming from coming from a complete non-Star Wars guy, to me, I mean, how does, if you say that he's been around that long, how does he automatically know how to use the Force when chosen to? Because if he's as young as we think he might be, is that within the species that they are automatically able to do that?
Right.
Well, for one, they made a different species age at different rates. So for 50 years in Yoda's race, that's still a baby. And I think we saw the development of him learning, like, did I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
He's learning how to use his powers in front of our eyes here as a child. Right. So,
yeah, I think.
Like, get back to the script. Wayne,
no. Look, that's what we are here for. I only wrote a script to kind of help us along the way in the event that we needed it. So, but here's the thing. Go back to the X-wing real quick. I don't necessarily know that they're escorting them with good intentions, because if you listen to them, they actually called them the enemy. I mean, so if you listen to the trailer, they actually call the Jedi the enemy, and they call them sorcerers. They're not calling them like these are my buddies that I'm going to go hang out with.
Yeah.
When you say you're in reference to the Mandalore.
Well, the lady that's the voiceover, right?
Yeah, because I think she said that there was a great battle between the Mandalore the Great and the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah, the Mandalorian.
In the point of view from the Mandalorian side, the Jedi these are evil wizards. These guys, they're kind of crazy. Right. And you can interpret any story any way you want. I mean, looking at it, you could probably interpret it that way. These guys are a bunch of fools.
I think that's the point, right? They set it up like that so that you would see it in a different light, right? So y'all see it one way, I'm seeing it one way. I bet Chris is seeing it a total different way. Do you think that they're following with good intentions or bad?
For me, I took that as because they're X-wing, and I think they're following with good intentions. I think they're guiding him to wherever he needs to go. I mean, because some people may argue that a little bit, because the first clip had them pull up on the side of him, and then the next clip you see them kind of chasing him, or it looked like be chasing him, but that could actually be a clip that actually goes before that. That Lucas is trying to make you think somewhere one way or the other. But I think they're guiding him to where to safe passage.
Yeah, even if it's not in a friendly manner where they're like allies, I think it's kind of like when Han Solo went to Cloud City, and then the pods came and they were like, "All right, you go into this landing bay or whatever," and then they followed him in. It could be a similar situation where he showed up, he radioed in. They're like, all right, we're gonna send some people out to escort you, and they have their X-wings in attack position just in case he freaks out and does something stupid. All right, we're gonna shoot you out of the sky. So let's go. So I think that's what it is.
Love it.
I don't think they're attacking him. I think they're just escorting him somewhere.
So what do we think about it?
Or one thing that we're not thinking about this, and the one clip we're not getting is maybe he's going into attack mode because maybe they have TIE fighters coming in towards him.
Could be that
But
too.
we're not seeing that portion.
Right, could be that too.
Yeah, that's true too.
There's a lot going on in this, and that we're
I
not
love it.
seeing it. And look, I think that's probably like why I've watched it 10 times now, just listening to it over. And one of my favorite scenes in that, and y'all are gonna have to tell me what your favorite scene is here in a second, is at the end. You know, when Yoda presses that button and his cage closes. That to me was epic. He pressed that little button and closed it up.
Because
He said, "I'm not having this."
He knew what was up. He knew what was coming. So he said, all right, I'm going to peace out for a second.
I got to go away for a second. So,
I know when it's over. Once I hear all the screaming stop, I know it's over.
what was your favorite
awesome.
scene in that, Chris? What was the scene in the trailer that you enjoyed the most?
I mean, to be honest, I probably didn't watch it as much as the rest of y'all, but you know, like I said, the scene of him going in and then all of a sudden everything being black and all you hear is everybody, you know, being beat up is a definite, something to recognize and to see. But you know, I think just the overall look, I just like the overall look of how it's filmed and how it's looked at and stuff like that. I just think is fantastic. I mean, you know, nonetheless, I mean the Mandalorian's armor just still looks fantastic by that. If I'm just looking at a visual effect, that just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, his armor is pretty awesome. I will agree with you on that. We'll see what happens. JB, what is your favorite scene in
My
all of
favorite
this?
scene? Well, I'm right there with you where
Pick
you know, when it goes
one.
dark and you get to hear it, but I'm gonna have to go with for me, all the Star Wars films, all the Star Wars anything, the opening scene where you get it looks like Earth in the background and he's coming over the planet and his things all jacked up and it kind of reminds you, oh wait a minute, yeah, we are at the end of that story. Yeah, there was some stuff that went down there. Let's see what happens here. I forgot that there was a cliffhanger. Let's find out what happens.
Yeah.
And that got me fired up from the beginning. And all the Star Wars things, I know it's going to sound corny, but when that Lucas logo goes up,
Yes.
I'm down with it, man.
You're a little
I'm
kid
down
again,
with the
right?
Lucasfilms logo, man. It goes up and you're like, yeah, I'm down. So that opening scene right after that Lucasfilm logo.
Look, I'd actually forgot that they left us on a cliffhanger on season 1 until you said that. I mean, I forgot all about that. Like I said, though, we're going to go back and rewatch all of that. JKL, come on, what's your favorite scene?
Well, it actually is the part with Baby Yoda where he hides, but since people have already said that, I'm going to pick another scene that I really liked when I first watched it. It was when they went to the water-looking planet, which I think is Mon Cala, which is the planet where the Mon Calamari and the Quarren live. You know, Admiral Akbar, who says it's a trap.
Wow.
He's the Mon Calamari. That's his
Wow.
planet. So I'm sorry.
This guy's amazing over here.
JKL is like our fact checker.
Our fact checker,
Even when we do our regular show, he's like our fact checker.
Well, on Star Wars stuff, I tend to know more about that stuff because I keep up with it. But when they show the picture of who a lot of people think was Ahsoka, which wasn't Ahsoka, but you know that the
who was it?
Mandalorian and the baby are standing there and they're looking, and then she disappears, and how they both just kind of look at each other like, okay, so like they know something's up. I like that scene because it shows that they have a rapport now, like they're kind of bonding. So I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Scene. Yeah.
And that's a good scene. You only saw her for a very, very little bit.
Yeah.
In that trailer.
So who do you think it is?
Well, when I first saw the trailer, I immediately thought Ahsoka, but after watching it, like Wayne said, like 10 times, yeah, that's not Ahsoka because the hood would have been much higher because she has the horns on her head.
The horn things in.
So after watching it, the actress looks like Sasha Banks. She used to be a wrestler, and she confirmed that she's in the show, and many believe she's playing Sabine. And Sabine is a character from Rebels.
Rebels,
you guys ever
the
watched Star
cartoon
Wars Rebels,
series.
but the cartoon series.
Oh,
No, I haven't gotten that far.
It was a really good show.
Dude,
You can watch it.
really good.
It's like most shows where the first season is kind of more geared towards kids. You're kind of like, oh, okay, but after that, it gets really good.
Yeah.
But I think that might be Sabine. If it's not Sabine, then I think it might be just a unknown Jedi that could remember. Not all the Jedi died, or not all Force users are gone.
Oh, they all went into hiding.
Scattered, right. So it could be either a Jedi who was really young during the time that the Empire took over, or just somebody new who knows how to use the Force and just kind of like drawn to the baby. I don't know, but I think it's Sabine.
So
that would be a good way to bring Rebels and Mandalorian together, because a lot of those characters are still alive.
When I seen that scene, I just assumed it was a Jedi. That was what I assumed when you see her. Yeah, I just assumed that it was going to be a Jedi. No, I could be wrong.
Because at the moment they talked, because if you watch the scene and you listen to it, it's they talked about the crazy wizards and
that's
all she disappears, and it's like, okay, well, it's got to be a Jedi. There's no other person they're talking about,
right?
Yeah,
but also could be just to throw you off. It could still be to throw you off.
Possible.
I mean, if it's not Sabine, then I definitely think it's a Force user. Somehow, maybe it is a Jedi that got that hit out during Order 66 or something. But yeah.
Did you say Order 66?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
See, JKL, I used to think that I knew a lot about Star Wars until I started talking to you, and then I quickly realized that we are not on the same level. Not even close to being on the same level.
I'm sorry.
Order 66 is the order that said all the stormtroopers turn on the Jedi.
Yeah, all the clones.
Remember, the Jedi were leading these stormtroopers into battle, into this fake war that was created, right? This whole thing, it was this fake war that was created so that they could create the clones in the first place. Right. And now you got all these Jedi, leading these patrols, and then boom, there's the order. Yeah. Wipe them all out at once.
It gave Order 66, and all the clones turned on the Jedi. But in also in Rebels, in the last season of Rebels that just came out, it shows that the clones, they didn't want to turn on the Jedi, but the programming overrode them, so they had to do it. Like they couldn't fight it. So that kind of humanizes them to go, okay, it wasn't like they were playing the Jedi the whole time. They actually had respect for the Jedi. But the program,
I think they had to. I think they had to also, that there weren't robots. These are they're still people,
sort of people.
They're sort of people. They're not robots. So it wasn't that they were following the order robotically.
Right.
Some of them had issues with it, and that was never really even touched on until you get to this cartoon now.
Yeah.
So
it shows that Rex was actually able to fight it for a little while before it took him over, and then Ahsoka helped him get his chip out. So he ended up not turning. But yeah.
Well, I got a quick question for y'all, and this goes for everybody. Now, we of course know Mandalorian's coming out. Now, we also know that there is an Obi-Wan movie or show coming out on Disney Plus as well, which is also supposed to. I recently read that Hayden is the guy that Christensen is supposed to be making a return in the Obi-Wan show. Do we think they're going to connect the two of them?
Not sure. At this point,
we don't know what the timeline for Obi-Wan is. That's, I think, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
From
we don't know what stories they're telling there.
Right. From what I heard, it's supposed to be before before New Hope. So many movies going around in my head. So it's supposed to be around that timeline between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, that a lot of that story is going to take place. But Hayden Christensen's supposed to be coming back for like flashbacks before he became Vader, to kind of show things that him and Obi-Wan went through that they didn't really show in the movies or even on the Clone Wars show. So I don't think it's going to connect much to the Mandalorian. But at this point, most of those characters are dead. So.
But I'm going to tell you what I think the Mandalorian did do. I think the Mandalorian told them that they could be really successful making spinoffs of characters from the movies. So I think we're going to see a lot of spinoffs. Like I would like to see maybe one of the stormtroopers have their own storyline for 2 or 3 seasons, however long they're going to do the Mandalorian. I mean, I can think of a lot of characters that I would love to get to know a little bit more about, like in detail.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of talked about Boba Fett a little bit, and the character, you know, because there's a lot of rumors that he's going to be in there, and I know everyone here has seen the pictures they made where somebody froze the film and they try and show you his armor from behind at some god awful distance to give you proof and evidence. And I know there's a lot of leaks out there, but what characters do y'all want to see, or do y'all think are going to be in this one that we haven't seen?
All the Rebels characters. No. If any of them, I know Ezra's supposed to still be alive, Sabine should be alive, and Hera should be alive. Those are all Rebels characters. I don't know if you guys know who they are. Hera, she was actually mentioned in the sequel trilogy. When they said in the background, you hear them call for Captain Undula. Her name was Hera Undula. So she's still alive.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes, having JKL on was not an accident. It was not an accident.
So in this point in time, during the Mandalorian, she should still be alive. So it would be good to see her. Even if it's just like a cameo thing in the background, her in the cantina or something, just something, that would be cool.
Man, I gotta get JKL down here to Disney World and go to Star Wars Land out
Listen,
here.
I want to go there so bad.
So that he can tell you what everything is.
I would cry.
I have no idea.
Oh man, you hear people talk about going to Disney World and crying because they just can't believe they're there. If I go there, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna make my own lightsaber. They're gonna have to drag me out of Millennium Falcon. Like, I really shouldn't go there.
and they got you. Disney knows that the fans are so rabid that they can charge whatever the $200 to $50 plus for a lightsaber. And I told my wife, I said, we all got to get one. She's like, oh hell no, that's crazy money. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely get one. She goes, no, you're not. I said, no, I'm getting one of these.
I'm definitely.
Well, that's just, we ain't having that discussion. I don't care what the damn thing costs. We getting this thing.
That's really not that expensive. If you go online, they sell them for like $1,200. I mean, you can custom build one online for $1,200 all day long. JB, who do you think we're going to see in this one?
Who do I think we see trying to connect the dots in this story? Considering that I personally think that this guy is a clone, I think we're going to see some sort of connection back to that original storyline. You know what? Maybe we see Jar Jar.
Oh God! Please, no. That's the only character that I really can't stand at all. He's like the Fortnite of Star Wars.
You know, I think it's safe to say that we're going to see some more bounty hunters, and there was still some bounty hunters in that lineup from, you know, that Empire Strikes Back that I still want to see. You know, let's see them get teased in here. So I'll go with anybody who hasn't been released in that lineup, but that bounty hunter lineup.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
I think we're going to see some new droids, not new droids. Yeah. So I think we're going to see R2. I think we might even see like Chewbacca. I think we're going to see some of those. Is they're getting closer into.
Well, Chewbacca's so old for sure. He's got to make an appearance at some point, right?
As they're getting into the Jedi and trying to get into the Resistance, as they're moving in that direction, I think that we're going to see a lot more characters, even if it's just for a split second. I mean, even if it's just for a quick pass by on the screen, I think we're going to start seeing them.
That's all we need.
Yes.
That's all we need.
It should connect to the First Order and the Force Awakens, because the planet Ilum was the planet that they turned into Starkiller Base. And around the time the Mandalorian is happening, they're already starting to terraform the planet. So if he's going to Ilum, which is also the planet where the Jedi get their crystals for their lightsabers.
What?
And there's a Jedi temple there.
Hold on. I'm already lost.
A single bell or whistle yet.
I'm completely lost already.
So if the Mandalorian is going to Ilum to find the Jedi temple, yeah, there should be some First Order. Actually, it would still be the remnants of the Empire at that point. I think they're just starting to become the First Order by that point. So, yeah, that might connect that. So, yeah.
Look, absolutely
you're
amazing.
You high five right here. High five.
Yes, high five for sure.
You're on the other side. The other side. Wow, man, you're killing it right now. Killing it.
What do we think about them
Holy
revisiting
moly.
the cantina? What do we think about that?
Going back to Tatooine, listen, that's a central area. Like they can go back to Tatooine as much as they want. I don't care.
And we're gonna love it every time.
Do you think so? Do you think that's okay? I mean, because the last time we seen that, they were burning it to the ground.
Well, there's more than one cantina.
I was just gonna
Lots
say,
of
I'm
cantinas
just
on
gonna say
Tatooine.
that.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Tatooine sounds like just a really grisly place.
Yeah.
You know,
They
there could be a whole
tore up
season
one town and
to
they built
Tatooine.
another one.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think they're going back there though because remember, Anakin lived there and Luke lived there, Obi-Wan lived there, and if he's actually trying to find like remnants of Jedi, then he would be following that path. So
Yes, but didn't the armorer stay? So they could be going back to the armor.
that too, yeah, that too.
Did the armor stay?
Armorer stayed.
No, I know. I don't know if it's on your list, but make sure because I want him to answer the question because he probably knows the answer, or at least explain to us about the black saber that was revealed at the end of
Dark
last season
saber.
and
Yeah.
how that ties.
Wait,
the
what
dark
black?
saber.
I'm lost.
JKL, we're
Okay.
waiting.
At the very end of the last episode of Mandalorian,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. That's the only thing. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again.
yeah, you see him cut his way out of the
Flying.
TIE fighter with a black lightsaber. It's called the dark saber.
Black.
It looks sort of like a ninja sword. It's flat. It's
Very
black.
important sword too. Very important sword to the Mandalore. Very important.
That sword was created by the first Mandalorian Jedi named Tar Vizsla. Somebody just put it in the chat.
Quick draws on that one.
Look at Quick Draw.
So is that the Mandalorian's lightsaber? Because each one of them has like their own color, or whether it's Earth or Vader, or each one of them has a different one. So is that the Mandalorian's?
Well, that's the only lightsaber that was ever made by a Mandalorian, as far as I know. And it was after that Jedi Mandalorian died, the Jedi kept it, but then the Mandalorians raided the temple and stole it. And basically, whoever is in control of the Darksaber controls all the Mandalorians. He's like the leader. He or she is the leader of the Mandalorians.
Oh wow!
And the last we saw it was in Rebels when a character called Bo-Katan, she had it and she was leading the Mandalorians. Actually, Sabine, the character I mentioned, she had it and she was leading the Mandalorians. But she was like, "Well, I'm not really a good leader," so she gave it to Bo-Katan.
No, I'm not worthy, is what she said. I'm not worthy.
Yes, right. And Bo-Katan is the sister of the character that Obi-Wan actually was in love with, who ended up dying. So,
oh my god, I gotta go back to this thing.
As far as we know,
again.
Wow.
How he came in contact, how he came to get the Darksaber is a mystery, like, because Bo-Katan was the last one that had it. And actually she's supposed to be in the show too. Katie Sackhoff, who was on Battlestar Galactica. Was she on Battlestar Galactica? What show was she on?
I
don't remember.
Galactica. Yeah,
Okay,
she was Starbuck, right?
Yeah. She's supposed to be in the Mandalorian playing Bo-Katan. So
Quick Draw says Maul had it too.
Yeah, Maul had it for a time too.
Maul had it. Yes.
Darth Maul had it too.
So do we think that maybe there's two of them?
No, there's just the one.
No, I think it's gone through some hands.
Yeah.
And now it's in this dude's hand, and he's no joke. This guy is like been around for a while, so
yeah.
You think we'll see a return of Maul?
So. At this point, Maul is dead.
Yeah. That's
At this point. Yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah, he died in Rebels. Obi-Wan killed him once and for all in Star Wars Rebels. Spoilers.
So JKL, what is the timeline you think the Mandalorian's on? Because I bounce back and forth on where I think this timeline's at sometimes.
It's supposedly somewhere between 5 to 9 years after Return of the Jedi. It's supposed to be somewhere in there.
So where would that put that in the sequel of the movies?
Between what?
It's after Return of the Jedi, before
Between 6 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah, between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 1 second.
I'm lost.
Sorry.
JB.
Well, he had to step away a second. We'll
Oh,
have to do
I didn't
another one
even
of
realize.
these when the other movies come out for Marvel.
You're definitely gonna
I'll
have to,
be on top of it when
you-
Marvel comes in.
Yes, yes, when Marvel comes out, you're definitely going to be on top of that one. They show a shipwreck, and they show them at the shipwreck yard. What do we think about that? Does he wreck his ship? Because I almost think that they're showing an X-wing that they're walking away from, and so that goes back to that. Did the X-wing crash and the escorting of him? And because they show him at the repair yard, or they at least show a scene of the repair yard.
I think he's coming in hot, all damaged, busted up. SOS, got hot package, and they escort him to get some repairs.
Yeah. There's also a quick scene with his ship. It looks like it's on fire from him entering the atmosphere. So I think that's from the beginning where you see his ship is all kind of messed up. The hangar bay door is open, it's smoking. So I think he was having trouble landing or entering atmosphere. So I think that's why he's at the shipyard. He's trying to get his ship fixed.
So do we think maybe he's going to get a new ship? Because we've all had that vehicle that was smoking and busted up, and eventually you have to trade it in on a newer one.
Nah, in Star Wars,
I doubt it after him. Yeah, he rebuilt that thing in the desert. Where was in that one episode, man? They had it stripped down to frame, and he brought it back.
Yeah.
The Wookiees, what was it? Yeah, can't remember who took his stuff. We had to barter it back.
It was the little Wookiees, right?
Jawas.
Jawas took it, yes.
They jacked him.
Scavengers.
Yeah, that egg or whatever from that thing.
Yeah, he got the egg from Mudhorn. Yep. Yeah, so I think that's what that was. Why he's at the shipyards. The thing I'm kind of wondering about is why he's on the water planet. Like I said, I think it's Mon Cala, but why would he be there? I don't know a reason why he would be there. So that's kind of a mystery for me. I don't know if any Jedi temple or anything that was there. So, and Akbar at this point, no, he's still alive. Yeah, he's still alive. About to say
he's alive.
He's still alive at this.
Do we think that he's going to give Yoda to anyone or the child? We should just call it the child. It's so easy to call it Yoda. So do we think that he's going to keep the child, or is he going to give the child to the Jedis? I don't think that he is. I mean, then it kind of ends the Mandalorian, right?
I think that he's trying to find someone who can train or raise the child, but I think by the end of the series he's going to be like, nah, he's probably better off with me. So I think his intent is to find someone who's able to raise the child, but I think at the end of the day he's going to be like, nah, I'll keep him.
I need to swing back around to something real quick, JK. Just on your timeline, you're saying you put this in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you're putting this?
Yes.
So then when Yoda was dying in Return of the Jedi and he looked up and said, there is another.
There's another.
Talking about this.
Could have been.
He could have been talking about this.
You know, they sneaky. So
no, he wasn't necessarily. We all immediately said, oh, Leia. But maybe he wasn't talking about Leia. That's just everybody just assumed he was talking about Leia because we didn't know there was any. We didn't know there was a baby Yoda floating around.
Right.
You know, maybe he was like, no, there's another.
It's 20 years in the making.
Yeah. But see, because
I got busy 50 years ago.
Obi-Wan probably didn't know about the child, so he could have been in his head secretly talking about the child, and Obi-Wan's like, "Oh yeah, I know Leia," but yeah, he could have been talking about the child. Who knows?
Don't know. When you want to say, you want to start looking at things from a different light, you know.
Exactly, a certain point of view, right?
That's
what Star Wars is all about.
Star Wars is all about that. And I love the fact that they're all about making me look.
I think based on that timeline that you just gave, if he's 50 years old right there, and you go back, and I'm telling you, I think he was cloned on Camino.
He could have been because
I think he was cloned. It fits the timeline.
Maybe it was like a test or something because they knew Yoda wouldn't last forever.
It was part of his whatever plan is. And then again, if he was born right around the same time Anakin is, and there's always balance in the Force, no one ever talks about, well, where's the balance for Anakin when he was born? Who was balancing him out?
Right, right. Because the doctor in the first season, who remember when the Mandalorian first took Baby Yoda, the child, in for the bounty, the client didn't care if he came in dead or alive, but the doctor wanted him alive. That doctor was wearing a cloning patch. That's the symbol that the cloners on Camino wore. So,
I didn't. That went. Ooh.
Yeah, so he's possibly a clone.
I may have to watch this whole series over again.
So, JB, do you think the child's a clone of Yoda?
I absolutely think he's a clone. I think it fits that timeline. I think that the grand scheme, because it was such an amazing scheme, creating an army based on a war that didn't exist.
Right.
He fabricated a war to create an army so that everybody would cheer him on his army. And he was so far ahead of everybody. I think he has also cloned Yoda.
Yeah. And one of the things with
because he knew that was going to be, that could be his downfall.
Right.
Would be a Yoda. So,
right. One of the things,
but then if you put it between 6 and 7, why do we see the child?
How about we blow your mind? What if this whole thing is Mando needed to get baby Yoda to Yoda before he died, so he had a body to go into, and he didn't get it done?
Could have been that too. Could have been, because you can jump bodies.
Did Yoda clone himself? Because he's like, I need a body at some point.
I really don't know, but I feel like I've neglected the chat here for a while, so I'm going to go through and give a quick shout out to everybody. So I'm never going to say the very top one, which is I'm never going to be able to say that one. I'm going to give a shout out to my wife so that
I can't say that one.
The friendliest Beagle. How you doing, bud? Clayton, how are you doing? Fabian, my good friend over there, Mr. TechBot, as always, he's right here with us, but I'm going to give him a shout out anyways. Quick Draw, how you doing, bud? Edson Mac, I hope I said that right. If I didn't, you can leave me an Instagram down below. That's perfectly fine. Quick Draw, how are you doing, bud? Funko PDX, let's see. And then we have Randomness 86. How are you doing, guys? I'm sorry, I'm neglecting you over here. I'm listening to JKL and JB just spit some knowledge that I thought I knew Star Wars until I start talking to JKL, and then I discovered that.
He's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me throw some theory at you. If you put this that the child is based between 6 and 7, why doesn't the child ever show up in the last 3 movies?
Well, he's gonna die.
If unfortunately, just like with all the movies, like it wasn't a plan, because like in the Marvel movies, it's like, okay, well, when they know
X-Men 10 years in advance.
Like, where were the X-Men though? Because now the X-Men are coming, and some of them are going to be old. So it's the same thing with Star Wars. Like they weren't planning on Baby Yoda when they did the sequel trilogy. So we could assume he's alive somewhere, but maybe he dies on the Mandalorian. We don't know yet.
I think it's going to be safe to just assume that he's in the background somewhere all the way through him. I mean, because that's kind of what happens, right? Eventually they bring them back out somewhere and they're like,
did you watch Game of Thrones? It's okay to kill the people at the end.
Yes.
It's okay to kill them at the end.
Just kill everybody.
It's okay.
Another thing is, if all the characters across the universe are always together, then it's kind of like, well, it's how big is the universe, So while all that stuff is going on with the Jedi and the Sith and the Emperor, like this is out in the Outer Rim. This is stuff that, the main planets have no idea. That's why when you hear them talk about Jedi and they talk about Jedi like it was a myth, and you're like, well, the Jedi was just around 5 years ago, 10 years ago. How are they a myth? Because out there in the Outer Rim, there weren't that many Jedi out there. Most of the Jedi stayed to the central planets. So, they see them as a myth. They see them as, wizards and sorcerers.
Sorcerers. I think that was the best way I've ever heard a Jedi described.
Yeah. And if you've never met one, that's what it would sound like to you. Like these guys are freaking sorcerers. they know magic.
I got a question for you, or kind of both a point and a question. One, the point is, I think that what Disney's doing, bringing this show, The Mandalorian, and even back before when they started doing the Han Solo film, which was not that bad. It was actually pretty good. And they did, the other film with the Vader scene at the end, which escapes me right now.
Rogue One.
It proves a point that we're so starved for freaking Star Wars content.
Yeah.
There is such a huge fan base that has been created that you can't end it. You can't end it. So if it's not going to end and it has to continue, my question to the panel and to JKL specifically is, where do you want them to go? I don't really want to see any of the characters from the last movie. I don't want to see any of those anymore.
Nope.
In my opinion, I want to go way back in time and find out what happened with Darth Revan and those battles back there, because that I think could be a better story to tell than continuing to regurgitate what you did with Rey when you kind of. I mean, now
I think that story's done and
told the
told.
world. She told the world that they didn't know what they were doing with her in the first one. Okay, they kind of thought she could go over here, but maybe we were going to go over here, but they didn't really have any idea what they were going to do with her. You know, so at the end,
Perry, what up?
It was just like the best of a worst case scenario. I don't want to see any of those characters. Who do you guys want to see? What's the next Star Wars major motion film that you want to see? I don't want to see Chewie. I don't want to see Solo 2. I don't want to see, I don't want to see that.
I'll raise my hand from the non-Star Wars guy, but the only thing that I've ever wanted to see more of as far as Star Wars, because I really don't think he got his due in the very first episode, was Darth Maul.
Yes.
I think Darth Maul has a much bigger story that he was just so underutilized in that movie, and he was so badass that Quick Draw Old Republic would be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Old Republic.
Well, Darth Maul, they had plans on showing more of his story. That's why they had him at the end of Solo. Spoilers, because they were trying to build more on him. Because in the Clone Wars, he's in the Clone Wars a lot. And then his own book was pretty good. I didn't finish reading it though. Why didn't I finish reading it? Doesn't matter. I had to finish reading it. So he has more of a story, but yeah, they definitely had plans to do more with Maul. Actually, Lucas, after he killed him, when they were doing Clone Wars, he told Dave Filoni to bring Maul back. So that's why he came back, because they wouldn't let him stay dead. But Dave Filoni, the guy who's doing The Mandalorian now, and he did the whole Clone Wars, he brought Maul back.
I don't necessarily know that I want to see them do another movie right now. I'd like to see them do another character spinoff. I'd like to learn something about a backstory of a stormtrooper that no one knows who it is. I mean, kind of like they did with this story, right?
Another movie. Actually, there's going to be another movie. There's too much money in this to not have another
maybe not
major
for a while,
motion picture.
But
what do you want to see? Because they're going to do it.
I'm going to say one thing. Just as far as being out here in Orlando and being at Disney, what's funny was when Star Wars Land opened up out here, it was considered an epic fail. And the thing is that I've talked to a lot of different, Imagineers. I've talked to a lot of different people, just people out here. And I think that they missed a mark on two levels. Now, of course, once Rise of Resistance opened, that completely changed that entire land around, because that ride is just incredibly awesome. But the thing is that, and talking to some Imagineers that had the idea of it, they had to go on two different levels. One, you either build a land that's already existing, but then again, the problem with that is you also put that land, the whole Star Wars land, in that realm, in that timeline. Right. Whereas they created their own planets. Downside with creating your own planet is now you don't have that connection when it comes to Star Wars. So I've said this a long time ago. At some point, you're going to see a Black Spire Outpost in somewhere in there that's going to have to connect Star Wars land into the Star Wars world. You see what I'm saying?
100% correct.
They might do it in the Mandalorian.
100% correct.
They might do it this season. That would be really cool.
I think we've talked about that before, and at some point I think that you're right. We'll see that come in one of them. But I still, if in the last one that they made, what was it, the Return of the Skywalker or the new Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, they kind of gave you a feed into a couple of the stormtroopers' backstory, and they were talking about how they were forced to be stormtroopers, and they managed to escape and get out. And so when I'm saying I'd like to see one of those backstories, I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking about that movie and that scene, and I'm thinking it'd be really cool to just kind of see another character in our love of Star Wars, another backstory of another character.
Right.
And so
I know one character I don't want to see any more of ever.
Why do you have a hatred toward Jar Jar Binks?
I almost couldn't watch that movie because his voice just annoyed the crap out of me. It got to me. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory on what Jar Jar was supposed to be rumored. They kind of made him like that. George Lucas made him like that because he was supposed to be a secret Sith. and he was supposed to be trying to throw off the Jedi by being so buffoonish that they would pay him no mind. But since he got so much backlash from Jar Jar in the first movie, that he changed the story about how it was supposed to go. Because if you watch the first movie, and I watched clips of this, there are certain characters that when they're speaking, you see Jar Jar kind of miming them. And as a CGI character, why would you draw your CGI character to mime a live character? So it's kind of like he was controlling them in the background where nobody could see it.
Shut the front door. You did not just say that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Dude, you're
went along
blowing
with
me
that,
away today.
that would have been so cool, because it's sort of like when you first meet Yoda and you're kind of like, what is this little crazy creature? Then you found out he was like one of the greatest Jedi ever. If the revelation that Jar Jar was manipulating all of the Jedi from the inside, especially at the Senate, because he's the reason Palpatine went into power, because he voted him into power. So that would have been such a cool reveal at the end. You'd have been like,
I think that would have changed a lot of things in a way.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
him just being a random character in there that just, yeah.
Right, but that's what ended up happening. So much people, he had so much backlash, and I think he changed the story to just make Jar Jar a random character when he was supposed to be a major plot point. So, you know,
Very possible.
yeah.
Excuse me.
And that what Funko PDX said, Ray Park actually came back in the Rebels cartoon. He did some motion capture for Darth.
Wait, who's Ray Park?
He's the guy who played Darth Maul in the movie.
Okay.
And he played Toad in X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a martial artist. Yeah.
They've had him out here in Disney a couple times and put him up in the makeup and everything like that. I mean, you can never tell it's him because they always have a Darth Maul character that they have in the parks. But I've had some friends that work at Disney and said he's actually showed up and gotten into makeup before, and you wouldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, I would like to meet him.
Wow.
Well, yeah, no, I think that park opened last year on my birthday, and I wanted to go to it on the day it opened, even though I didn't know it was opening till like 2 days before my birthday, so that was never going to happen. Right. At some point, I'm going to have to make a trip down there and walk around that park, because I kind of feel like JKL on that one. I'm going to have a hard time walking around that park with the stormtroopers. It would be a lot of fun. That would be a blast.
And Quick Draw is right. They I wouldn't say they won't let him back because he's such a big character. They will let Ray Park back. I know they didn't like his comments he made in social media. I do agree with you on that. But as popular as that character is, I mean, yeah, they can replace him. But you know, they everyone knows who he is, so they'll bring him back at some point. Disney doesn't. Very few times has Disney completely cut ties with somebody.
Yeah, especially if it's going to make them money.
Exactly. Bingo.
All about the almighty dollar.
Exactly.
Well, guys, I appreciate all of y'all coming on. And before we get out of here, how about we do some like shameless self-promoting? JKL, you got anything going on? You want to talk about any new videos, any new lives, your Patreon, all that good stuff you have going on?
Yeah, no Patreon yet. I'm gonna hold off on that. I still have a lot of video that I need to shoot. I need to edit. I've just been crazy busy the last couple weeks, but I got stuff coming. I nothing specific. I can't really say anything specific, but I do have my my interview show that I did with wow, I was about to say Fabian. Jose Goes Pop Hunting. I don't know if you guys saw what happened with him with his page.
Yes.
I don't know the details, but
yeah, his page got taken down. Not sure why, but he's supposedly trying to work to get it back. Hopefully he gets it back. But yeah, that I'm glad I was at least able to interview him, and I want to do more shows like that. But like I said, they're just kind of random pop-ups. Yeah, that's it. I just randomly pop up live, and if you catch me, great. If you don't, no big deal. I'm just having fun.
Well, have you ever thought about changing your channel to a Star Wars channel? Because me and JB were talking about this one day, and I threatened that mine any given day might change. But I'm thinking that you have more of a possibility of changing than I do.
Well,
yes.
One of the reasons why, because when I first created my page or the channel, my daughter wanted to call it something populated. And I told her, listen, it should be about us, because the JKL is for me, my daughter, and my son.
Right.
My son is Jaden, my daughter's Kaya, I'm Leslie, so we're JKL. And I told them, like, we could change our channel to whatever we want it to be whenever. Doesn't have to be specific to one thing. So, I may start doing some Star Wars videos. Who knows? Like,
JB,
I know it's mostly pops, but whatever.
what's going on, bud? You've always got so much going on that this is almost a scary question to ask you.
Here, hold on, let's see. I'll give you the. I'm
Just
JB.
give us the full rundown.
I just give you the whole rundown. If you've never seen the channel, I use this setup. I share my homepage. My homepage is actually kind of like got a couple playlists on there. One is called the live stream playlist, which it is currently on. And then there's a top picks playlist. In 5 days a week, I give you a little rundown of what's on today in the comic book and Funko Pop community. If you're not familiar with me, there's a link in the description below. Check me out. Kind of fun. And I'm just a stay-at-home dad with too much time on his hands, who likes to mess around with OBS and StreamYard.
Now, you said 5 days a week. Sometimes I see you on here 2-3 times a day.
Oh,
5 days a week.
Well, no, that show is, the morning rundown show is 5 days a week. I also do a kind of a pop-up shop where I'll sell some comic books through the claim it by a letter methodology, claim it now. And then the newest thing that I'm doing is I'm producing some shows where I'm not even in them. Hey, we've got a new subscriber.
Hey, it fired.
That's right.
And there you go. It fired. I appreciate you. Today, we released our 3rd episode of Artist Alley in collaboration with Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk and Christy Shin of Horror Studios. They interviewed different artists in the area. They live down in LA, Southern California. And I'm producing this show. So I got all the bells and whistles and graphics and intros and outros. And it's just a whole nother animal. And I've done 3 episodes so far. So I'm excited about that.
Did you just decide you didn't have enough going on that you needed to add to it a little bit? Or?
Honestly, I've been watching Artist Alley on 1-2 Comic Talk for months, and nobody was watching this. I'm like, man, you're getting just great people to interview. You're doing a fantastic job interviewing them, but you didn't even put a link to their Kickstarter in the description. You never showed their website or their Instagram. There's so much more you could be doing. And he finally came back to me, like a month ago. I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's do that. I was like, all right. So we're broadcasting on both channels at the same time. And I don't know where I got that idea from.
Yeah, I don't know neither.
So you guys inspired me to do this. So as a collaboration, since he doesn't have the full-blown StreamYard package and I already do, and I had some time on my hands, I said, you know what? I'll just produce it for you. And we'll put it off on both channels. We're going to add Horror Studio, so it'll go off on 3 channels next time it goes off, next Tuesday. Nice. And I'm excited about that. Yeah, definitely.
So do you think that eventually you're going to do a collaboration channel with him? Because me and Chris have actually been talking lately about just making a separate channel once we get to a place where we're comfortable in our own channels and we know where they're at. We're talking about just making one for our lives. Is that something that you've thought about?
With this latest round of me kind of doing some stuff behind the scenes, yeah, I'm thinking of doing, maybe rebranding this one or just creating another one and doing something different. We'll see. I'm having a good time. I'll tell you what, when people reach out to me, and I always like to throw this out there, and I get a lot of people reaching out to me, and that's totally cool, man. You want to ask me a question on Instagram, I will answer you. It may take a couple days, but I'll get back to you. But when they ask me, what's your advice? I want to start a channel. What's your advice? I want to start a channel. I want to start a channel. I want to start a channel. Have fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Period. If you ain't having fun, don't do it. If you started having fun and then you stopped having fun, stop.
Yep.
If you're not having fun, you don't do it. I'm having a blast. It's almost too much fun. I can't tell anybody about this. So, but when it stops being fun, I'll stop doing it.
Hey, well, I almost got to that point at some point, and I kind of had to pump my brakes and breathe a little bit and realize that this is a hobby, right? No one's going to scream at me for messing up my hobby. So
can I? No, I just want to. There's a common misconception out there that it's because we're 1,000 subscribers and we're monetized, that hey, well, YouTube's paying you.
Nah, it's not
It
that
ain't
much.
much.
That's
Not until you're pulling like a million views.
I'll tell you what, do the math. Go look at, I get 200 to 250 views. That don't pay very much. You're talking like 10 cents, 11 cents.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
So don't think that, oh, these guys got 1,000 subscribers. They're getting paid by YouTube.
Yeah.
This is a hobby. This is a hobby. I can barely buy a cup of coffee with that, so.
It is for real deal a hobby. I think God's honest. What is it? $8 is what you would probably bring home at where we're at right now in a month. I mean, that's the Starbucks. I might even have to give them a few extra dollars to get my coffee. I mean, so Chris, anything you have going on that I don't know about that everyone here doesn't know about?
I know you and I talk at least a couple times a week. If not, I'm randomly sending you pictures of Star Wars Land all the time, teasing you a little bit, but but I got, there's all kinds of stuff. I'm still loving my band boxes. I got the 2 new ones from this month. I've got a box I've actually finally been excited to get. I got a Spastic toys. I think it's supposed to be either 4 or 6 Funkos in there. I don't know. I'm gonna open them up. Sometimes I forget how many items I ordered, but I've got stuff coming in from Funko Shop. I actually have, for the first time, and I'm probably going to release it this upcoming week. Sometimes it's not going to be part of my usual Tuesday and Thursday videos, but I actually have a new tech review coming out, and it's actually been a long time that I've done one, and I've kind of been hesitant to do them again, but I had a company contact me and say, hey, because I did a review a long time on one of those solar power banks, and they came contact me and said, hey, would you be willing to review ours? And I said, as long as you're willing to, as long as you're okay with me giving you a God's honest opinion, sure. So I've actually been testing it out the whole past week and everything like that, because I'm going to give all my correct information, or my good review for it. So go on. And then, like I said, we're just talking. I know that Wayne and I are talking for either next week or the week afterwards. We are going to bring back our monthly segment. In fact, we may start doing 2 segments a month of what's in their collection, because what's in their collection has been pretty popular. And except for we're going to do it a comic edition, because I think that our past couple ones that we've been doing all Funko people. We got to get the comic book side into this. And I know we've been talking to guys like Meta. I know Comic Book Pose is a big fan of ours and stuff like that. And I'd like to get more guys like the 2 brothers or I can't remember all their
comics
names.
Used to do Perry Comics used to do comics.
Yep.
He used to.
He used to. Now he does movie reviews.
I'm sure he still collects comics.
But Perry's just down in Tampa. Perry's got to come up here, and we got to go do a video at Star Wars Land. So he's got to get his butt up here, and we'll go and do a video at Star Wars Land and have a lot of fun.
Hey, so all of you are comic guys, right? I mean, I know JKL is, JB definitely, Chris, yes. How do I get the new Deadpool sent to my house? I mean, I can't seem to find a source online to where I can just get them mailed to me. It's almost like they want me to come in to their store. And look, I'm not a very social person. This is my social hour right now that we are doing. I don't walk to my neighbor's house and talk to them. So how do I get them sent to me? There has to be a way, right?
I'll give you a contact of a guy who will take care of it. They own their own shop. They'll put you on a pull. They'll send you your books whenever you want them. Or you go to what's the other one? I don't even go online anymore, to be honest.
Right.
There's just nowhere to get them
online anymore. I go with Chino Comics and More in Houston, Texas. They're part of the community. They own their own comic book store. He pulls my stuff, and the beauty about them is when something's hot, he'll go, "Hey man, do you want me to grab you one of those?"
Yep.
And it may not be something that I'm into, but yeah, hell yeah.
Yep.
And no one else is doing that.
If I'm not mistaken, our buddy just, can you believe that? Comics has his own shop too, doesn't he?
Really?
I don't know. That's why I asked you guys.
I may be wrong on that one.
No, I actually get my pull is with Chino Comics and More in Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. If I can't wait for that, I will drive over to Concord to Flying Colors. But no, my local guy is in Houston, Texas. and he makes sure I get what I want.
Is he on Instagram?
And he ships it good.
Is he on Instagram?
Yeah, Chino Comics and more. Yep.
I'm gonna check them out.
All one word. Chino Comics and the letter N.
I don't know. There's something though, and I agree with Quick Draw. Support your local comic book stores.
Well, yeah.
There's something about going to the comic book store, rifling through the boxes, to find that comic and stuff like that. Because I mean, for me, I always go after the older comics. I like the 70s, the 80s, early 90s comics, stuff like that. And so that's what I'm attracted to. But I'm not going to find that on the front shelf. I'm going to have to dig through the boxes to find that stuff.
You remember the video I did where I went to Target though, right? I mean, it takes me an hour.
Oh, it took you like an hour to get to Target.
To Civilization. I don't want to have to drive an hour to get my comic book. I just want somebody to mail it to me. I mean, just mail it to my house, and when I get it, I'll read it, and then I'll patiently wait for the next one to come to my house. I mean, so
yeah, Chino also has a guy in Canada that they collect for a guy in Canada and send it to him once a month or once every 2 weeks. So yeah,
yes, I'm definitely going to go have to check them out, guys. I really appreciate y'all coming on today. I know it, taking the hour out of your day is really cool. I'm going to end this. We will see y'all again, hopefully on the 31st. Everybody here will be here again in October, not this month, but in October. We'll be here the day after that one drops. I don't know about y'all, but every year we actually dress up for Halloween, so I might actually be dressed up when we do that one. I don't know that for sure.
We already know JB has a Cookie Monster outfit.
Yes, so I'll probably be dressed up and ready to like go out. Like, so right after it's over, I can like get out there with my family and we can go have fun. Normally I've been dressing up like Captain Jack for 2 years. I hate to say this, but I think I'm thinking about doing Captain America this year. I mean, I'm really thinking hard about it. I think Chris might have influenced me enough that I might actually do that.
Hey, go for it.
I'm surprised you're not trying to do Deadpool or something.
Deadpool is just not cool enough for a Halloween costume. I don't get into the whole just mask over my face thing. It's just not me. Guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good one.